When I opened my eyes again, I was back on the day my husband split the relocation payout. This time, I beat him to the demolition office. He said 30 grand? Fine, give him 30 grand. The rest is mine. Honey, our relocation compensation came through. I'm useless. I only managed to get 30 grand. That familiar voice snapped me back to reality. I was still drowning in shock and rage, my chest heaving. When I opened my eyes, my husband, Xu Shengtong, stood there with a gloomy face, handing me a demolition notice. In a few days, I'll go get the money released and transfer it all to you. After all, you handle the whole family's expenses. I'm just an honest guy and I don't make much. I'm counting on you. Honest guy? More like an old liar who never tells the truth. I looked at his sincere little act and coldly glanced around the apartment. This place was downtown, just outside the second ring road, with 3 elementary schools and a top high school nearby. A prime school district home, 100 square meter apartment, and the payout was only 30 grand? Who was he trying to fool? In my last life, I was just too soft-hearted. I actually believed such a flimsy excuse, so I tested him. How come I heard our neighbor Xiao Li's family got a huge payout? They're already looking at beach villas and planning a trip abroad. Same building, same floor, same layout as us, and we only get 30 grand? Xu Shengtong froze for a second, then rubbed his nose guiltily. My mother-in-law got upset and slapped me across the face. Why are you asking so many questions? It's almost dinner time, go cook. My Shengtong would never lie to you. The loan on the new place was 3 million yuan, and this little money wouldn't even come close. My in-laws were old and in poor health. My son Ayao was still young. Xu Shengtong worked at a senior care office and only made 1,800 a month. At night, he even had to work unpaid overtime and pay out of pocket for business dinners, so the whole family's burden fell on me. I got up at 3 to knead dough and prep filling, opened my bun stand at 5, then at 9, rushed to change into clean clothes and go to my office job. After work, I still didn't dare rest. Rain or shine, I delivered takeout to support this whole family. And in the end, what I got in return was betrayal. I wore a delivery uniform, rode an e-bike through the rain, and ate leftovers and rotten scraps. Meanwhile, they laughed inside a luxury villa enjoying fancy meals. Fine. Then don't blame me for turning ruthless. You want dinner, right? Then I'll make you one hell of a last meal. All the suffering I went through in my last life, it's your turn to taste it now. When my mother-in-law saw I wasn't moving, she slapped me again, grabbed my hair, and dragged me into the kitchen. Can't you see we're out of food? Your dad keeps saying he wants hairy crabs. Go buy some. 5 fat ones. Ying Ying is coming over for dinner. You don't need to eat. Lobster and king crab too? I was risking my life out there to make money, while they lay around at home eating well and acting like royalty. Dream on. Back then, I always thought about the family. My in-laws were sick year-round and needed medicine. My son was growing. My husband's business dinners hurt his health, so I wanted to give them the best, even if I had to suffer. Every time I bought fresh meat and vegetables, they got all of it. I only ate spoiled meat and rotten leaves. Over time, I became severely malnourished. I couldn't even bear to go to the hospital, so I just took a few vitamins. Sometimes I was so hungry that I tried to grab one leftover rib from their plate, and my mother-in-law would slap my chopsticks away and call me a starving ghost. 10 years of torture wore my body down, and all I raised was a pack of ungrateful wolves. The funniest part? I paid for the food, cooked the meals, and in the end, I wasn't even worthy of one bite. My mother-in-law shoved the grocery basket into my hands and pushed me out the door. I scoffed and went to the market. Fine, then nobody gets to eat. In this life, I'm the one eating good. Facing the premium seafood I'd never even touched in my last life, I happily treated myself. After I was almost full, I slowly walked over to the trash can and picked up a handful of rotten leaves to take home. At the dinner table, the whole family stared at a plate of green leaves. Are you out of your mind? What is this stuff? Is this even food? Are you feeding livestock? But I had eaten this stuff for 10 whole years in my last life. I wasn't mad. I just smiled and spread my hands helplessly. What can I do? The relocation payout is only 30 grand. We don't have enough for living expenses, so of course we need to cut costs. From now on, this is what our family eats. Their faces instantly turned as green as the vegetables on the plate. Who told them to lie? They had no choice but to force themselves to eat. My husband reluctantly picked up a bite. The second it went into his mouth, he gagged hard. Why does it stink so bad? I curled my lips into a smile. These were the good ones I carefully picked out. Some farmers aren't too careful with fertilizer. One simple bucket of pig manure goes down, and the outer leaves stay in contact with it for too long, so they absorb the smell. Usually they're thrown away and not sold. I specially asked for them and cooked them without washing. How could I let them miss out on something this good? My in-laws were spooked by my husband's reaction, but still tried to bite. They threw up on the spot. My husband's sworn sister, Yang Xinying, and my son Ayao were so scared they didn't dare touch their chopsticks. Xu Shengtong slammed his chopsticks down. What are you trying to do, poison us? I put on an innocent face and squeezed out 2 tears. How could I? I'm doing this for the family. If we don't have enough money, this is the only kind of food we can buy. Look, I can't even bear to eat it myself. If you're not used to it, why don't you pay for your own food? Xu Shengtong opened his mouth but could only sit back down. No one dared complain anymore. And the result? That night, every single one of them crowded outside the bathroom, clutching their stomachs and screaming in pain. Ow, it hurts so bad. You bitch, what the hell did you feed us? Call an ambulance and get us to the hospital. I calmly crossed my arms, watching them roll around on the floor in misery. I can't even describe how satisfying it felt. In my last life, because I was always sleep-deprived and severely malnourished, I got nosebleeds all the time. Passing out was normal too. But every time, Xu Shengtong and the others acted like nothing happened and just left me there. Only when it was time to eat would my mother-in-law dump a basin of cold water on my head to wake me up, grab my hair, and order me to cook. Stop pretending to sleep and slack off. Look at you. What kind of lazy daughter-in-law sleeps before dark? My Shengtong works himself to death making money every day. Without him, you'd have starved on the street long ago. She slapped me so hard my ears rang and I saw stars. Blood ran from the corner of my mouth. Pale-faced, I explained that I didn't feel well and wanted to go to the hospital. Xu Shengtong didn't even look at me. His voice was cold. It's not a big deal. Why are you always making a scene? A hospital visit costs hundreds. Why waste the money? Just tough it out. That was how they treated me. So what's wrong with giving it back now? I walked up to my husband and looked down at him. Now that the relocation payout is only 30 grand, we need to save every penny. You can't keep spending like before and acting spoiled. It's just a stomachache. It's not a big deal. Our family can't afford the hassle. Just tough it out and it'll pass. Xu Shengtong's face went pale and he cursed at me. How can you be so evil? You're going to kill our whole family. This is murder. Evil? If simply giving them back their own tricks is evil, then what was everything they did to me in my last life? No matter how Xu Shengtong begged, I acted like I didn't care. I ignored them and went straight back to the bedroom. Without having to run around delivering takeout, my body felt much lighter. I didn't sleep as deeply at night anymore. Half asleep, I heard Xu Shengtong rustling around and going to the living room. I quietly got up too, crouched by the door, and looked through the crack. I saw the whole family whispering and plotting. My mother-in-law spat. Tomorrow we'll go get the relocation money. That bitch actually dared to treat us like this. She's tired of living. If I weren't afraid of splitting money with her in a divorce, I would have kicked her out already. Why keep that bitter old hen around? What bad luck. Young Xinying's eyes darted around. Mom, Dad, Shengtong, calm down. I have a way to make sure that bitch doesn't get a single cent. As she spoke, she leaned close to Xu Shengtong's ear. When the time comes, drug her. Drag that idiot from next door over and take some photos. Then it'll count as cheating during marriage. You won't have to give her a penny. Maybe she'll even have to pay you. My mother-in-law grinned excitedly and said, "That's what we'll do. Then we'll bring Ying Ying over, and our family can live happily together. We'll never have to look at her again. Keep dreaming." I pulled a property deed from the cabinet. I was the one who paid for the old apartment in the first place, so the demolition payout should all belong to me. In my last life, I trusted them completely and was busy working, so I left all of this to Xu Shengtong. In the end, I didn't get a single cent and was trapped by them for 10 years. Now, even without that demolition notice, I could still get the relocation money without a problem. After they finished plotting, Xu Shengtong still didn't send Yang Xinying home. The two of them quietly went to the balcony, all lovey-dovey. I sneered. So they had been hooking up behind my back long ago. Perfect. Now I could get the relocation money and catch Xu Shengtong cheating at the same time. The perfect plan he worked so hard on was mine now. The next day, I took my documents to the demolition office, and a huge sum was transferred into my account. I specifically told them, keep the remaining 30 grand here for now. Someone will come pick it up later. I hid behind the counter and watched. Sure enough, Xu Shengtong walked in looking all smug. Unit 408, here to collect the money. He slapped the bank book onto the desk. The staff member paused, realizing this was the person I said would come for the 30 grand. The staff member asked carefully, "Are you sure you don't want to double check? This procedure can only be done once. If anything goes wrong later, we won't be responsible." Cut the crap, hurry up and transfer the money. After the staff finished processing it, Xu Shengtong didn't even look. He rushed off with Yang Xinying and my in-laws to pick out a villa. I followed them the whole way and heard him cursing. Tonight, we'll do exactly what we planned yesterday. I was going to let her slowly suffer until she died. Then I'd be free and could be with Xinying. But I didn't expect that bitch to be so hard to kill, so don't blame me for destroying her. They arrived at the sales office and happily toured the model home. The biggest master bedroom was for my husband and Yang Xinying's wedding room. The two smaller bedrooms were for my in-laws and my son. And me? The actual owner of the old apartment? I only got 30 grand and there was no place for me in the new house. I was done serving this cold-blooded family of leeches. Seeing Xu Shengtong and the others about to settle on a villa with the sales manager, I smiled. Fine. Let them help me judge the floor, layout, and style. Saves me the trouble. I strode forward and handed a card to the sales manager. "Sorry, I'll take the house they're looking at. Please start the paperwork." The moment they saw me, Xu Shengtong and the others jumped in shock. Soon he glared at me with a dark face. "Xiaoran, what are you doing here?" He crossed his arms and mocked me. "What kind of nonsense are you talking about? Buying a house? Do you even have money?" I didn't get angry. I smiled and threw the question back at him. "Whether I have money or not, you'll know soon." The real question is, do you? My mother-in-law slapped me, knocked the card from my hand, and stomped on it hard. "You worthless bitch, what crazy nonsense are you saying? Stop ruining our family's business. Once the paperwork is done, I'll have Shengtong throw you out and sell you to beggars to be abused." "Oh? Who ends up homeless and falling into beggars' hands is still up in the air," the sales manager confirmed one last time. "So, which one of you is buying? Once the contract is signed, the 500,000 penalty is non-refundable." Xu Shengtong waved his hand and signed the contract first. "I've got plenty of money." The next second, a loud, insufficient balance echoed through the entire lobby. When he saw the screen, he completely lost it. "Where's my 30 million? How did it turn into 30 grand? Tap below to watch the full story.